Greetings, fellow earthbound souls. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Elijah Mo. I am here today to share with you that I've been given a wonderful gift. The gift I am going to share with you is enlightenment. Recently, I caught up with my friend, who I will refer to as Agem, whom I met 2 years ago after a year I had spent with my soul quite bruised and damaged. This was what life had presented to me. It was quite a traumatic period in my life, which led me to a very dark place. I felt lost and so damn angry with the world, myself and God. I wasn't even remotely certain of the existence of God then. And in that sad and lonely headspace I was in, I visited all my dark places. And for quite some time. Strange enough, in those dark places, I found ways to meditate there and embrace my own darkness. Even though it was a very dark place, I never perceived it as a sinister place. I think it is important that we visit our dark places, because it is only when we visit the dark that we can find the light. It's a cliche to say that, but it can't be closer to the truth. While I was wallowing in the darkness, I saw myself for the real person I am. I am not a saint, I am just a normal man. Also, I became an addict, and like they say, you can never recover from addiction. I won't name the substance, that is irrelevant. And yes, it has been challenging at best. And with the addiction, it presented with it a lot of physical challenges, which I am dealing with. Finding that ever-present light, which we have been sanctioned not to see, was just the most amazing revelation. Everything just fell into place and sent me to a completely different headspace and got me fully in touch with my soul. My friend Agem, whom I see as a gift from the universe, which I received in this very dark and horrible place, came with such infinite and ancient wisdom. He is quite a few years younger than me in earthly years. Since then, I have learned through that light that touched me not to always measure everything, because that's what we do. We are programmed to measure everything in this world, including age. We judge people not only by appearance, but by their physical maturity. These souls, who are still relatively young in years, possesses wisdom through their own intuitions. So, I am no longer one to judge anyone by their physical age, because it is your soul that really matters. Your soul is ancient. With my enlightened perception, I discovered what the meaning of life is. So many people reach out and go down on their knees asking, please God, what is the purpose of life? What is the meaning of life? My conclusion is that when you exit this earthbound vessel that you've been given, when you leave this world, your soul wants to get to the end of its long and arduous journey to enlightenment, and to find rest and lay at the feet of God, the almighty magnificent creator of life itself. I'm not a religious man at all. In fact, I detest religion. It is because of religion that the world is in the state it is in. I know I may get a lot of flack for this defiant point of view, but believe me, in the name of so many of these gods, which no one can claim with certainty, are real. These gods are man-made constructs. God was here first. He is the creator of all, maker of this beautiful world, an infinitely awesome universe. This vast and incomprehensible universe which holds within it life as we know it. We can't conceive of it because it's so vast and yet it is also so small, and it is right here inside you, right here. God lives here inside each one of us, without discrimination or exception. All God wants is for you to open your eyes and see the good in ourselves. Be one with our own divinity. The world is a rotten place right now. We are living in very dark and trying times, where bad is conquering good by a long mile. The whole world is out of kilter. This perfect world and gift of life that we have been given, which mankind has been made to bend and manipulate for personal and selfish gain, is not God's making. No, this insatiable pursuit has been the making of a godless system designed and engineered to control us. We cannot rightfully own anything in this world. And why do we work our entire lives so we can own a piece of it? Land that we are being sold at the biggest price. It was never intended for anyone to own, and it was never for anyone to have sold or given away in the first place. Mankind invented all these borders, all these boundaries to segregate, and all these countries has been set up to divide everyone. That is where it all went wrong. Languages were created to confuse and divide. Whose construct was that? Why can't we all speak the same language, the same way of communication? If we were really in tune with our souls, we would pick up on the vibration of a person or anyone that we get in touch with. We would be able to recognize souls by their vibration, and in doing so, we would be able to assert whether good is present within them. Or, if it is bad, you have the choice to either keep them at a distance or embrace them and love that neighbor. This is the most important message. Love your neighbor, and without judgment, you are not allowed to judge. Only God alone will judge, and He is not a God of cruel intentions or unfair judgment. No, He is not a God that punishes you for everything you do, like the Bible and so many scriptures would like you to believe. He is a God of divine love. I feel this divine love from God completely. It is the most awe-inspiring and magnificent feeling. And knowing that all the beauty in this world was created by this extraordinary and amazing force. God is Almighty. He is. I sideline every scripture and every derivative of these man-made gods. I do not buy into it. I live for one God. My goal is clear, and I hope I can reach it in this lifetime. This awesome gift that God has given is for us to spread divine love and touch souls who are ready and open to receive the gift of enlightenment. I want this earthbound body to last until my soul can reach the end of its earthly bounds and finally rest at the feet of God and become one with God. And if it is to be, I too become God and live in that promised land. That is what the purpose and meaning of life is. Why are people so obsessed with their own race? Everyone is being prejudged by color and appearance. How did racism come about? This destructive vehicle of so much hatred and bigotry. All of it is just another way invented by the system to divide and separate. And the reason God created these ethnic differences in human race was never intended to segregate, but was purely a practical, so that these original peoples who were created with variations based upon their geographical environment and is down to basic biological makeup. Quite simple by and perfect by design, made by God Himself. If you were from colder regions such as Europe, With longer winters, God gave these peoples lighter complexions and finer features because of their geographical status. Humans living closer to the Arctic were given smaller eyes to be able to handle the glare that snow and cold regions have. If you were situated further down in Africa, where humans have physical attributes with robust features and darker complexions, was intended to best cope with their immediate surroundings and environment. It was man who stacked these differences against one another, not God. We can change this. Oh, yes, if we start spreading this divine love instead of feeding our egos that the Matrix has been working with dogged determination to keep us enslaved and trapped within this maze in which almost all human souls are firmly locked into. The Matrix is the construct of the powers that be, who are hell-bent on keeping everyone firmly under their control, and they have been doing so for a long time, more than 2,000 years. Just look at the world around you. The device you are watching this on, connected to the World Wide Web, is keeping track of everyone and everything we do. This has been the plan of the Matrix all along, and they control your every move. In this world, no one is free. Everyone has been captivated by the Matrix. I'm not a doomsday advocate, but the world is so out of balance and so wrong that inevitably it's going to take something cataclysmic to remedy the ills that man has inflicted on God's creation. We have been destroying this beautiful place which man has divided up into countries, and then pit man up against man, woman against woman, even innocent children, to fight for what they believe is real. Man has built these places of worship in the name of God. These ostentatious monuments, cathedrals and churches with gilded embellishments, frescoes and stained glass windows that shines and reflects and is fueled by angelic choral voices, amplified in order to lure the masses. They gather these mesmerized flocks so they can take their money and also take control of their minds. That is what churches are. Religion-based institutions, which were so cunningly engineered and meticulously orchestrated. They are grand schemes to control everyone. These self-appointed people have total control. Some of these powers that be, under the guise of so-called democracy, appoints leaders, presidents, and chairmen to carry out their mind control over these groups of humans divided into countries. These so-called leaders and self-proclaimed demigods were put into power to carry out the wicked agendas of the Matrix. The lucky few who are wealthy and who have been enabled by being industrious, or even worse, by inherited wealth, are amassing unbelievable mounds of money, building themselves these ivory towers from which they relentlessly construct walls higher and higher to keep everyone out. As they sit in their gilded cages, they look down on the less fortunate and stop at nothing to fortify and secure their fortunes, and not sharing any of it with anyone. Like they're going to take their ill-gotten gains with them to the promised land when their tainted souls leave this world. These souls are so corrupted and dark that they will never enter the promised land, because the souls are going to return to the chaos on earth that they sowed. And these souls will be recycled until these self-declared alphas get the message. Stop feeding your inflated, self-centered egos, and instead nurture your soul to possess the power of empathy and divine love. The ultimate reward, and gift that is enlightenment. Then you won't need these fortified gilded cages because your neighbors, too, will be content and revere you for your benevolence. And in contrast, won't despise you and conspire to steal your money. Start by loving your neighbor. It is a very powerful and most rewarding experience that is available in abundance to each earthbound soul. I am Elijah Mo, saying good night with immense gratitude for God and this magnificent universe inside me. Love yourself, your neighbors. My wish for you is that whoever you are, that you too receive the gift of enlightenment.